What's up, everybody? Welcome to a very special Monday night live beer review. And it's special for a couple different reasons. You can probably tell from the title of this video. But this specific video, this review is my 300th beer review on the channel, which just kind of blows my mind. It just seems like yesterday I hit my 200th review. Considering that I review basically one beer a day and I've been doing it for about 6 months, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. In addition to that, there's another milestone that not only this video is going to celebrate, but this day celebrates. And that is that today is the 1-year anniversary of the Beer PaTroll, my channel. So it was a year ago today that I started the Beer PaTroll. Yes, on April Fool's Day of 2018. And the reason I started April Fool's Day is because I'll make a long story short here, but a lot of my Canadian beer tubing buddies and people that I know and I consider friends of the beer tubing community, we would go back and forth. I would tease starting a channel, and this goes back to 2012, and they would always give me crap for it. So lo and behold, in 2018, I finally started my channel, and I thought it'd be a good idea if I did an April Fool's Day for an April Fool's joke, just to make them think for a second, like, hey, is he really going to start a channel, or is this just an April Fool's joke? Turns out the quality of my channel might be a joke, but the fact that I do have a channel is not. So yeah, it's celebrating 2 different milestones, 2 different special occasions today. I'm actually going to be reviewing 2 different beers. This will be the first of the 2. It's going to be 2 different videos because they're from 2 different breweries for archiving purposes. So this review should be a half an hour, 45 minutes, and then I'll come back with the second one. And they're both big beers, so I'm probably going to get kind of hammered, you know what I mean? As Rick James said, well, I guess Dave Chappelle, as Rick James said, it's a celebration, bitches. So let me check comments here, and we'll get right into it. We have 3 people watching, but no comments. Holy crap. So I was just, you know, this is, wait, we got a comment. So first and foremost, we got Craig over at Kent Beer Reviews. He says, cheers, brother, and congratulations on number 300. Well, thank you, Craig. I do appreciate that. If you guys have never checked out Craig's channel, highly recommend doing so. He's a great dude, great content, and yeah, highly recommend it. So anyway, before I get into this review, I want to say I want to thank everybody just for the support that my channel has had in the past, I don't know, year. If you haven't been following my channel in the past year and you just started following me like in the past 6 months or whatever, it doesn't really matter, because I've had a lot of support with this channel, whether it's been the comments, the subs, the views, whatever. It's been awesome. I always told myself if I ever started a beer tubing channel that it wouldn't matter how many people viewed my channel. It wouldn't matter how many people would comment or whatnot. And you know what? It's the furthest thing from the truth, because the pure satisfaction I get out of my channel is people actually commenting, people interacting. I don't think I would probably still be doing this if I had nobody watching and nobody interacting, because what's the point? You're just kind of talking to the camera. Nobody's listening. I don't know. You're just listening to yourself talk. And I know that happens for some of my videos, but just in general, I do appreciate everybody, you know, supporting the channel. So thank you to each and every one of you. I do appreciate it. What do we got going on? Well, Eric Gilbert said, "Where's Joe?" And I think he's referencing the fact that I don't have my beard and I shaved it off. I thought like the stream stopped. So Eric, don't ever do that again. Jeff, aka No Jinx, says happy 300th review and first anniversary. Thank you, Jeff. Cheers with a Earth with a big cheers emoji. So thank you to Earth. Chris says happy anniversary. What happened to your face? Well, I shaved, Christopher. That's what I did. I shaved, and this is what you get. And then Chris says I like your Sabres uniform. Yeah. So I thought for the first year anniversary video, I would, you know, make hopefully Greg happy by having the Sabres uniform on, my, you know, my hoodie and my, it's like I'm a player. I could probably be a Sabres player, you know, based on how fucking terrible they are. But regardless, Chris is not gonna, or Greg is not gonna watch this. So fantastic. Ewart shows up and says, Joe, you hot April Fools. Oh, hilarious, Ewart. How about you stop with your terrible trolling? I like what you're doing there, though, Ewart. Good job. Ewart, I asked you in one of the Facebook chats something about a beer that you were drinking, and you never responded. So go look at one of those I can't remember the beer now, and I don't care to go look. But anyway, Eric Gilbert says Sabres suck. Yes, they do. And Ewart says Rick Vive for life. Okay, Rick Vive had that awesome roll on his neck, and I have it kind of on my chin, so we're all equal. Anyway, let's hop into the review. So the beer I'm reviewing today comes from the Deschutes Brewery, and they're out of Bend, Oregon, and this is their XXX, which is their 30th, and they're calling it the 30th Birthday Reserve. This is an Imperial Porter brewed with Dutch cocoa, 100% aged in oak barrels, comes in at 13.6% alcohol by volume, 40 IBUs. And at the time of review, this beer is about, I don't know, 9.5 months old, something like that. Yeah, I'm sorry, Ewart. I can't look back either. I don't care. It was what beer were you drinking yesterday? I don't know. You were drinking. You posted a picture of it. So if you remember what you drank yesterday, but you're old, you probably don't remember anything. Anyway, so I've mentioned this before, but Deschutes Black Butte, their regular American Porter, is one of my favorite, just straight up American Porters. And it's a fantastic beer. And every year they do a birthday version of it. So this is their 30th anniversary, I believe, of their brewery in general. But this is at the same time, I don't think they've released this every year. I think they've been just doing it over the past 10 years or so. I've had a couple different vintages of this. I forget which ones, but this one is brewed with Dutch cocoa. Now, for anybody trying to figure out what Dutch cocoa is, you might know. I didn't. So I looked it up, and it says Dutch processed cocoa powder is washed with potassium carbonate solution that neutralizes cocoa's acidity to a pH level of 7. Although all cocoa powders can vary in color from a light reddish brown to a rich dark brown, the Dutch process gives the powder a noticeably darker hue. In addition, it has a smoother, more mellow flavor that's often associated with earthy, woodsy notes. There's also a heavily Dutch black cocoa powder that brings the cocoa powder to an alkaline level of 8. And this is the kind of bittersweet cocoa that you'll find in like Oreo cookies. So I thought that was interesting to mention because I have no idea what Dutch cocoa is. Like, I don't know. Anybody know what Dutch cocoa is? I have no idea. Maybe. So another thing is they say they aged this in 8 different oak varieties. Interesting note. Deschutes' website does not tell you those 8 different oak barrels. But I did find a website here that actually lists all 8 oak barrels: bourbon, rum, cognac, port, sherry, vanilla extract, maple, and salt. I had no idea there was vanilla extract, maple, and salt barrels, certainly oak barrels. So that's very interesting. The other 5, sure, but very interesting. We'll go to comments real quick. Bumpy says, Joe, your beer is gone. Oh, wait, you hadn't opened it. Yeah, I've been running my mouth like I usually do about nonsense for about 7-8 minutes, Jesse, because that's how I roll. Christoph shows up and says, what's up, sons? What's up, Christoph? Irit says, Hop Slam? I don't know if it was Hop Slam. It was not. I'll check later, and I'll tell you in the next video if you watch. Jeff says he loves this beer. He gave it a 4.5 out of 5 on Untappd. Nice. Christoph says, cheers, mates, to everyone. Cheers back to yourself, good sir. Ewart says, love Black Butte, reg, and the anniversary brews. Yeah, Black Butte. Now, listen, if you get Deschutes and you've never had Black Butte, just the base one, and you like porters, American porters, grab it. Doing yourself a disservice if you don't, I think. Ewart says, never been disappointed even with the weird orange one. I never had that one. You remember what year that was, Ewart? And then Chris says, share this anniversary on Facebook. Jesus Christ. Come on, Chris. Come on, Chris. You can't be sharing it on Facebook. It's terrible. Anyway, so let me crack this open. I pre-cut the wax because I don't want to sit here and struggle. I mean, that's for other people, not me. Although I probably will struggle to open this. No, came right off. Simple. I should have already had it poured and already had everything ready to go. So let's give it a sweet, sweet pour. Wow, that's pouring out way lighter than anticipated. Now, I know this is a porter, but it is Imperial and it's 13.6%. So come on. I mean, come on. Anyway, that looks like a beautiful beer. Pouring it was like a very dark brown in the glass. That's pitch black. About a finger of a, I want to say a straight up brown colored head. It might be a little bit lighter on camera. Super fluffy looking, pillowy, creamy. That looks absolutely beautiful. Oh, Jesse said it was a crappy beard joke when he said your beer is gone. He was referring to the beard. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. Wow, this smells very, dare I say, reserved in the nose. Picking up the oak, there's definitely vanilla. There's an oakiness, but because of the blend, it's just all over the place. I think I'm getting a decent amount of the salinity from that salt, though. Yeah, definitely. You know what this is coming off as like salted caramel chocolate. You know, whether it's the bar or like some kind of dessert or whatever, some kind of salted caramel dessert in some form. Ewart also says another stellar Deschutes beer is the Dissident. Yeah, I mean, the Abyss Mirror Mirror. Christoph mentions Mirror Pond. I believe that's their pale ale's good. But if we're talking like the big anniversary barrel age stuff, Mirror Mirror, the Abyss, Dissident, the Stoic, not the Stoic. What else am I missing? There's other ones as well. Christoph and Eric Gilbert. With the hacking and the darts and gars and everything, man, it carries over from Rod's channel. It's amazing. Yeah, so a lot of like deeper, when they're talking about that cocoa powder, this is giving it a sweeter dark chocolate vibe to the base of this beer. Caramel and toffee, that salinity from the salt, almost a minerality. Like I said, salted caramel chocolate. That's pretty much what I'm getting in those, along with some accents of vanilla. Like there's a vanilla oakiness that kind of accentuates the entire beer. It's very cohesive. I said it was all over the place when I first smelled it, but I think this has more of a cohesiveness and like it blends pretty good in the nose. I was thinking it was going to be all over the place based on the first nose I got, but it's actually pretty nice. It doesn't smell 13.6%. I will say that. It smells more in like the 10-11 range. It doesn't smell super boozy. Now, I've only seen one review of this beer specifically on YouTube, and it was Paul over at PA Brew News. And he drank it back in September. So at that point, this beer was like 3 months old. And he was talking about how there was a big fusel alcohol kick, which he liked. He really loved this beer. I think he gave it a 9.5 as far as I remember, maybe 9. But he was talking about how boozy it was in the taste. Maybe that'll be the case when I get into it. But as far as the nose goes, it doesn't smell overly boozy. A couple more comments. We have Raining on Your Parade says, what's the price on this one? Oh, shit. You know what? I don't remember, but I'm going to say this one was sub $15. Now, you know what? This was probably 17, 18 bucks, Rainier Parade. This was around, I think, $17.99. I actually picked this up because we do not get Deschutes in the Western New York area. I don't think we get Deschutes in New York State, period. Picked this up in Erie, Pennsylvania at a Wegmans grocery store, and I'm pretty sure it was $17.99 as far as I remember. Now, it's a bomber. It's 13.6%, has 8 different blends of barrels, so I think that's a good price based on everything that's going on. And then Ewart responds with too much for you. You know, you got Ewart, you got Rainier Parade. They like to go back and forth. It's usually just Ewart attacking Rainier Parade, but you know, what are you gonna do? Christoph says, yeah, the Bend, Oregon boys make a good brew. They do. Craig says, that looks smooth. Hashtag smooth. And Christoph says, just saying I love Mirror 2 along with Black Butte. Yeah. You know what I like? I like, what is their Mosaic IPA? Is it Fresh Squeezed? Is that Citra Mosaic? I don't know. They released that like 5 years ago. That was good. And they're Chasing Freshies, I believe, is the other one that I really like. Joe, someone shaved your face and glued crushed up Oreo cookies on it. That's what Lee Russell says. And you know what? Yeah, you know what? If I could just rip them off and eat them, Lee, I'd be in heaven. Anyway, I'm going to get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for joining me for my 300th review and my 1-year anniversary. Yeah, this is 13.6% and 40 IBUs, and there's definitely alcohol here. Wow. First thing I can say, I don't remember what Paul said, but if Paul did not call this beer incredibly thin, like 99.8% of the beers that he drinks, then I'm going to call him a liar because this is totally thin. It is an Imperial Porter. It's not going to have a huge mouthfeel, or shouldn't, and body that a stout would, even though they're pretty much the same thing at this point. But it is thin. I'd imagine the blending of the barrels and everything is thin this south. This is like higher side of medium body. The flavors are very nice, though. The nose pretty much, I want to say, follows suit. A lot of deep, dark, sweeter chocolate. But there's a lot of salted caramel I'm getting this one. If you called this a Imperial salted caramel chocolate porter, I'd totally be like, all right. Now, there is a substantial booziness, and there's like an oaky vanilla presence. So I'd be like, is it barrel aged? But there's no way I would tell you there's 8 different blends of oak barrels in this one. Not at all. There's this sweeter dark cherry, almost sweeter dark fruit component. Port, cherry. Maybe that's what's bringing that note to the table for me. But again, I wouldn't be able to tell you that based on if I was doing, let's say I was doing this blind. let's say this was a whodunit beer review. There's no way I'd be able to tell you there's 8 different barrels in here. I might be able to pick 1 or 2, but not 8. Yeah, so higher side of medium body for the body itself. The mouthfeel, slightly smooth, slightly creamy. There's a little bit more carbonation than I thought there would be, considering this is, almost a year old. I thought there might die out a little bit. Maybe it would just be undercarb to begin with because of the style. But yeah, Ewart says, fucking cherry cordials. Yeah, no, I'm not saying cherry cordials. I said sweet dark cherry. I did not say cherry cordials. Not this time. I did not. He said it's like drinking in Canada, aka ghee, like his orange candy notes. Maybe that's maybe cherry cordial is my orange candy. Lee says, congratulations on 300 reviews and 1 year making YouTube millions, Joe. Have a good night. Yeah, man, I'm rolling in the dough. I think, spent somewhere around minus $2,300 on beers alone. So I'm definitely not in the black whatsoever, mostly in the red. But, that's what you get for being a YouTube sensation that is terrible at reviewing beer. Eric Gilbert says, how does Ontario get Deschutes, but New York doesn't? Because the Sabres suck, sons. Not sure what the Sabres being absolutely horrific have to do with anything, Eric. But Ontario gets a lot of stuff. Like, you guys got Licking Hole Creek before it even showed up in New York. You guys get a lot of stuff that does not show up in New York State. So, yeah, I don't know. This is really good. This is a really tasty Imperial Porter, barrel-aged Imperial Porter, Dutch Cocoa barrel-aged Imperial Porter. But I don't know, for some reason, because it's Deschutes, because it's their 30th birthday reserve, because this is Black Butte in general, and I really like the series. I just thought this would be mind-blowing. I thought you got 8 different barrels going on. You got Dutch Cocoa. It's 13.6%. It's a huge, big, should be a chewy, viscous beer. I thought I would just be absolutely blown away, and I'm kind of not. It's really tasty, don't get me wrong, and I'm enjoying every sip. But it doesn't have the complexity I would expect from an almost 14% beer. It has a little bit too much alcohol for my taste. But again, that's me being spoiled. That's us being spoiled as craft beer drinkers nowadays. This is 13.6%. Nowadays, I honestly have drank 14, 15, 18% beers that don't taste, half of that. So when I drink a 13.6% beer nowadays and it tastes like 13.6%, it's just... yeah, it's just me kind of complaining about stuff that I shouldn't be complaining about. I will say this. It's a very well-made beer. It's actually quite tasty. There's nothing wrong with this in the least. I like the flavors that are here. The best way to sum this up, salted caramel chocolate, Imperial Porter that was barrel-aged in just like generic bourbon barrels. That's kind of the flavor. If I was doing this blind, that's kind of what I would guess. I would guess there's chocolate in this. I'd guess there's some kind of salinity here, some kind of saltiness here. I couldn't tell you this has 8 different barrels in it, but at the end of the day, this is a good beer. So rating on the Black Butte 30, I'm going to give it a solid, we'll go 4.25 out of 5, maybe like a low 4.25, 4.15, something like that. It's well worth trying once. I wouldn't revisit this one. If Deschutes was in my area, though, I would buy this anniversary beer every single year. I wish they were. I'd definitely buy the Abyss. I'd have Black Butte, the base one, in my fridge at all times. I would be drinking their fresh squeezed all the time. Absolutely amazing brewery. This beer, though, just really good. We'll go to some more comments here. Jesse says, what? You got another live coming on? Yeah, I have Firestone Walker's 20th or 22nd, which is their anniversary beer coming up soon. Probably do that around 9 o'clock, take a little bit of a break and get back into it. Plus, I forgot to grab it. And I threw it in the fridge because it was a little bit warmer in the cellar. And I don't want to drink it at room, like 70 degrees like Paul, but I need to grab it. Christoph says, yeah, I got that notification too, Jesse. Yep, there's another one coming up right after this one. He says, congrats on 300th. And then he says, LOL, Licking Hole Creek, what a name. Yeah, that's a fantastic name. Also, thank you for the congratulations, Christoph. Jesse says, my guy named Son is still at my work. He's made it 1 week. And then Ewart replies with, good job, son. Dad jokes for days, boys. Christoph says, chewy, viscous, trademark 2009, Joe. Haha. Yeah. I need the viscosity, baby. Dusty Joe needs the viscosity. Eric says, New York can have Licking Hole Creek hot garbage. Boy. Chris says, hashtag baby palette. For Joe's 1 year anniversary, I personally declared Joe the new king of beer tube. Agreed? No, that would be Craig from Kemp Beer Reviews. And now it's you, Chris. And it's going to be Ashley Sexton any minute. Any minute. Jesse says, cuvee it with the rest of the bottle. Not yet. So shout out to Jeff. Shout out to Jeff because I have these little saving caps. I know, Jesse, you drink the entire thing, everybody, but you just throw these in here. You give it a couple twists, and the carbonation stands till tomorrow. And that's what we're going to do with this one because I'm going to drink the rest tomorrow. I can't be getting hammered and trying to do the next review all fucked up. Christoph says, Joe, I have a mate in Borgen that could get you some Deschutes to me, then to you. No worries, Christoph, because Deschutes is in Ohio, it's in Pennsylvania, it's in Michigan, and honestly, I usually grab their stuff when I'm there. I picked this one up back in the fall when I was in Erie, PA. I went there, it was, I want to say October, and they had a ton of Deschutes stuff, so don't worry about that. I can pick stuff up. It's going to be, here and there, but I can definitely grab it. Richie Z says, congrats, Joe. Thanks, Richie. I do appreciate it. Rainier Prey says, unreal how nobody is even touching this year's KBS. Yeah, it's I would like to say unreal, Rainier Prey, but KBS is now a shelf turd. Just because the market saturates so many good barrel-aged Imperial Stouts, it's tough to pay $24 a 4-pack or $6 or $7 for an individual 12-ounce bottle when there are beers just as good as that beer just hanging out as well. I don't believe that KBS has went downhill or anything. I don't think it's a worse beer. I've had the last couple vintages and it's fucking delicious. I haven't had this year's. I did pick up a bottle of it, but the quality of the beer is still awesome, I think, personally. It's just there's more options out there. So I don't think Founders understands that. It's nice that they're getting more into the marketplace, but I don't think you need more in the marketplace. We have people, Eric Gilbert, Richie Z saying hi to one another and cheers. Ewart says, oh shit, Beth Phoenix is back. Yeah, she's been back for a while. Have you not been watching? Are you going to watch WrestleMania next Sunday, Ewart? I'd imagine you will. Chris says, fucked up previews are the best. That referencing something that I should be aware of, Chris? Did I say something? I have no idea. Christoph says, okay, copy that. Eric Gilbert says, I'm the king of you boob sons. I'd imagine you are, Eric. Craig says, congrats again, buddy. We'll watch the second review tomorrow. Thanks for stopping by, Craig. I know it is late over there, so I appreciate you staying up and watching this shit stream. Thank you very much. We have Chris says, I will grab KBS soon. Easy to find, very easy to find. And then Rod says, what the hell? Where's the beard? The beard is gone. It'll be back. Settle down. I just shaved a couple days ago. Give it time. Christoph says, haha, at Eric Gilbert, darts, gars, and brews, eh? Yeah, that's what Eric Gilbert should start, a darts, gars, and brews channel. I think it would go over well. Rod says, I'm lost, LOL. Rod, me too, and so is my beard. He says Founders again. So Rainier Prey mentioned KBS, so I started talking about Founders. That's pretty much what happened. Christoph says Joe asked some 30th Black Butte for his 300th review. I think Rajay was trying to be funny. I think he was, Christoph. Ewart says she's been back. Must have missed that. Definitely watching WrestleMania with D on Sunday. Yeah, she came back about a month. She's going to be in the tag team title thing, the women's tag team title. They're going to do like a fatal 4-way or something. Yeah, I'm down to watch it with my cousin and a couple other people, and we're going to drink probably shitty beer. Rod says, nice, love the Black Butte. Have you had any of the anniversaries, Rod, considering you can get the shoots there quite easily? Chris says, read that hashtag again, one less P. Oh, okay, hang on. Yeah, fucked up reviews are the best. Okay, I got you, Chris. And all my reviews are fucked up, so it's perfect. But yeah, anyway, if anybody has had this, I think Jeff said he gave it a 4 out of 5. I gave it a 4.25. This is definitely good beer. It's not amazing to me, and I don't want to say I'm disappointed by it because a 4.25 is a pretty good score. I thought I was expecting a bit more from it, but you know what? As is, it's still a pretty delicious beer. Eric Gilbert says, screw Founders, sticking to Omni Polo for the summer. Rod says, not since like 25. So Rod had the anniversary from 5 years ago. Christoph says, I was away for the week and have to catch up on my subs videos, including Rod and Joe, etc. Nice. And then Rod says, EG, my man. Yeah, Rod's not drinking Founders anymore either. I can't blame you guys if you don't. I bought the only beers that I bought from Founders in the past 6 months, KBS, a single bottle. That's all I've done. I'm going to try and, not go crazy with their stuff. If something interests me, I'll buy it. Aside from that, I'll probably leave it on the shelf. Paul from PA Brew News says, hi, sexy. Well, hello there, Paul. So, Paul, I watched your review when you originally did it in September. I give this a 4.25. I think you gave it probably a 4.75. Yeah, this is really good, but I'm a little bit, I don't know how you didn't think this was super thin, because this is crazy thin. Crazy thing. Richie Z says, Joe, how does that compare to the regular Black Butte? Two completely different beers, Richie. The regular Black Butte is like 6%. It's American Porter, just nothing going on. Your basic, malt, hops, yeast, water type of thing. This is a completely different beast of a beer. If I'm being completely honest with you, and Paul's going to be like, you're an idiot, and that's fine, because Paul's an idiot too. We're all idiots. If I just had to go based on my personal taste, I'd rather have Deschutes Black Butte base over this specifically. I just would. It's such an amazing, well-made beer. This is completely different animal, though. A completely different animal for me. Rod says that he appreciates Christoph's support for his channel, and he's got some new ideas coming. Oh, boy. You want to spill the beans there, Rod? You're just teasing everybody. Ewart says, I'm done with Founders for the most part. Got some of their Panther Cub for a friend. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the way I look at it, unless something just interests me to the point. I mean, I'll be honest with you. When Founders' Imperial Stout comes out later this year, I'll probably buy a bottle or two. But outside of that, I can't tell you that I'm going to purchase any of their beers. And I will just be honest with you, that makes me a hypocrite, and I'm fine with that in this situation. Maybe because I'm more married to the beer hobby or whatever you want to call it, and I feel differently. But, it's something that kind of hits home. I supported Founders for a long time. I've probably spent well over $1,000 on their beers over the years, easily. And the way they apparently treated some of their employees and whatnot, not cool. So, to each their own. Paul says, much like KBS, they're always then, if I wanted a thicker brew from them, I'd go with their Abyss. Yeah, it's definitely thin. It's definitely thin. I don't know if it was as thin when you drank it 6 months ago, Paul, but this is thinned out quite a bit to the point where it's like higher side of medium body at best. Rajay says next week he's got 450 North Tropic Nuggets, and he says, I'm just saying. Chris says, need some 450 North in my life. Yeah, everybody does. And Paul says, calm down, Canadian Todd. And then he also says, calm down to Todd. Jesus. Rod says, nice to 420 about being in Utah for a minute with his cabin. He says a beautiful area there. Everyone laughs at Paul telling everyone to calm down. Paul just comes in here, and he's like a better version of Ewart when it comes to trolling. And that's the beauty of this. The beauty of this is Paul is better than Ewart. I think that's the conclusion. You say what you want about this beer or this review in general. The conclusion of this video is Paul is better than Ewart. That's all I have. I have nothing else. Sorry, Ewart, but Paul's better than you. Ewart says, I wish it wasn't Founders that effed up. I like their stuff, and it's great having one of their tap rooms about 5 minutes away. I mean, I think that's why more people are upset in general, Ewart, is that people have loved Founders for years, and it hits home with them more than any other brewery. If this was, some just average or okay brewery that you don't really care about, yeah, you'd be like, no loss. But Founders has made awesome beers, and the fact that what they did is absolutely shitty makes all of us think twice about purchasing any of their stuff, and it hits home. It makes you feel even worse about it. Christoph says, yep, my car was whining, had to change. Listen, car talk, bro. Come on, Christoph. We're talking beer right now, bro. Ewart says, F Paul's trolling. Eric Gilbert says he loves some Canadian jokes. Isn't that the joke in general, though? Canada? Oh, shit. Damn it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make that joke. I mean, I love Canada. I'm part Canadian. Paul says Ewart is simply 93 garbage, which I totally agree with. Ewart then says Paul is the equivalent of Jordan trolling, but with dead people. That's a bit much. Ranger Parade says, looks like I can pass on the Black Butte 30th if I need to. Could you get Deschutes in Maine, Ranger Parade? I just assumed you didn't. I had no idea that you got it there. I mean, we don't get it here. Anyway, I'm pretty much done with this. 4.25 out of 5. It's a really good beer. I expected personally a little bit more, but I do think it's pretty tasty. And if you do see this at a reasonable price at this point, this beer is, almost a year old. You're talking close to 10 months old. I'd imagine you're not going to have to pay full price for it if you do see it. Grab it, see what you think. It's 13.6%. It's 22 ounces or 650 milliliters for my Canadian friends, or I guess non-American friends. That's not a bad price. It really isn't. Christoph says, hey, I was away. Didn't want to make like I forgot my beer mates reviews and I had to wait. Sorry, Joe. I'm just giving you shit, Christoph. That's what we do here. We poke fun at one another, but in the best way possible. You say whatever you want in the comments, Christoph. I don't moderate. There's no reason to moderate here. Ray Prey says, don't think so. Maybe a couple. So he does not get Deschutes. Eric Gilbert says, America. That's right, Eric Gilbert. Eric Gilbert, as shitty as my Sabres are, your Leafs aren't winning the cup anytime soon or probably ever. So we're in the same boat regardless. Make the playoffs, get eliminated. Doesn't matter. You're not winning the cup. Paul says, it is a tasty brew. I do enjoy how the Black Butte and Abyss change from vintage to vintage. I will say that. That's a good point, Paul. Every single year, this beer's different. The Abyss they come out with, they always change it up too, and they will do variants. Deschutes does not lack when it comes to creativity. They know what they're doing. Their base stuff is amazing, and they're always trying unique stuff. And they've been doing this for years. This isn't something that they just started doing. They've been changing up their anniversary beers and their special releases for, as far as I can remember. So, Deschutes just makes good beer. Deschutes is probably the one brewery when you're talking about like a big regional or even national brewery that doesn't get distribution in New York State that I'm actually upset about. Because I feel like Deschutes, beer for beer, is probably in the top 3 to 5% for me. Because I don't think I've ever had a bad Deschutes beer. Chris says, good job, Joe. Congrats. Well, thank you, Chris. I do appreciate that. Eric Gilbert says, cup for sure this year. Eric, can you say that with a straight face? You can't. You can't. Christoph says, my car guilt tripped me with, hey, this is going to take a while at 110 volts. Better get on YouTube when you get home. Haha. Yeah. Hey, your car was trolling you, much like Ewert and Paul are trolling in the comment section. Drunken One shows up and says, sup, gang, with a big smiley face. What's up, Drunken One? Thanks for joining. Appreciate it, brother. I really do. Paul says, I've been to the brew pub in Portland, and it's gorgeous. Yeah, that's one place. I would say beercations in the States, everyone talks about going to, Massachusetts and hazies and this and that. And what I still think Southern California, specifically San Diego and Oregon, Washington, just like an entire week of just hitting up breweries in Oregon and Washington would be amazing. Honestly, I think that would be amazing. Rod says, congrats on 300 as well, Joe. Thank you, Rod. I do appreciate it. Eric Glover says 299 subs now. If I somehow lost 70 subs based on this hangout, that would be, how do you say, incredibly ridiculous, but also the fact that this is my 300th review, Eric Gilbert, means you are probably very, very deep into your scotch or maybe the beer at the same time. Nick shows up and says, holy babyface, Joe. That's right. So here's the thing. I'm proud of this. You know why? Listen, I still have a roll. I still have an extra. I'm fat, but I don't look as fat, and I'm happy with that. I lost, 50 pounds, so I figured I shaved it off just to see if I looked as fat as ever. I'm still fat. I'm just not as fat, and I'm happy with it. Rod says, thinking Joe shaving his beard had to do with his last hit and the skies he needed. No comment. Absolutely no comment whatsoever. And then Ewert says, I'm trying to get you to lose subs. Well, I appreciate your support there, Ewert. I do. Negative subs are always the way to go. The fact that I have 370-ish subs or whatever is, it's just stupid to me. It doesn't make sense. And Ewert says he's doing that one bad troll at a time. Yes. Eric Gilbert says the 70 subs were my fake accounts. Well, I appreciate you doing the 70 fake accounts, Eric. That's really nice of you. Anyway, I'm going to shut this down because I have another beer to review. I'm going to do it at 9 o'clock. I hit it for 8:45. I'm going to come back at 9 o'clock. We're going to review the shit out of some Firestone 22. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Nick says, yeah, hardly recognize you without the beer. Definitely losing the weight, dude. Well, thank you, Nick. I am losing the weight. And it's been a lot of fun losing weight and drinking beer. It can happen. It can happen. Anybody out there wanting to lose weight, you can drink beer. I post a review a day for 6 months, and I still dropped 50 pounds. It's certainly possible. It can happen. Positive thinking. So I'm going to shut this down. 14 people watching. I don't know why. Probably because Chris shared the link, which I do appreciate it. They're all clicking on and clicking off because that's what I would do with this terrible channel. Yeah, everybody that stopped by. Richie Z says, cheers, Joe, and everyone have a great evening. Thanks, Richie. You too, buddy. Jesse says, see you at 9. Rod says, congrats on the weight loss. Christoph says, I'm there for that one too, Joe. That's why I love you, Christoph. Good support. Jeff gives me the peace symbol because he says peace. And Rod says, just stop dropping the weight off at my house. Rod, you've lost a little bit of weight, buddy. Don't be BSing with me. So before I leave, let me shout out the channels that I want everyone to go and check out. Craig over at Kent Beer Reviews. Chris over at Off the 10th, the new king of beer tube. Go check out Ewart over at Tech Murray. He posts a lot of videos that he doesn't post because he doesn't post videos. That was a total lie. Go check out Jesse over at Bumpy Road Brewery. He does a good job. Go check out Nick over at Maxwell Star Beer Reviews. He is kicking ass as well. Go check out Lee Russell. He doesn't review beer anymore. They Must Be Destroyed on-site podcast. Check it out if you like movies, especially some obscure ones. Am I missing anyone else that has a channel? I don't think I am. Rod over at Rod J Beer Ventures. I was going to purposely forget him just so he would be angry at me again. But guess what, Rod? Didn't forget you this time because how can I forget you? I can't forget you, man. And last but not least, Paul over at PA Brew News and Drunken One. Both of those individuals are great dudes. Paul has completely unwatchable content, but, you know, he still has a channel, so go support him. Love you, Paul. Anyway, Jesse says it's when you do shits out of the butt. Yeah, that's what shout-outs are. Shit-outs. Shits out. Yeah, Drunken One, I did. Go check out Drunken One. He does everything from home brewing to trolling people in the northeastern part of the United States about spring sometime in mid-February. Oh, guys, look, it's spring outside. It's 70 degrees out. Oh, you have 3 feet of snow on the ground and it's -4? Well, that sucks to be you. Damn it, Drunken One. For fuck's sakes. I love you, buddy. All right, I'm going to shut this down for real. Appreciate everybody stopping by. And until about 23 minutes from now, deuces.